Hello everyone. In previous videos, we mentioned that you can set default values for some fields, including fixed default values and dynamic default values, which can reduce manual operations and improve efficiency when adding a new record. For fixed defaults, you can either type in a value or select a value, such as selecting a date as the default value for a date field, selecting a department as the default value for a department field, and so on. Fixed default values only take effect when adding a new record and will not take effect when editing existing records. For dynamic default values, there are three setting methods: other field value, query worksheet, and function calculation. The first method is to use other field values. You can set the default value to be the value of another field in the current worksheet, or set the default value to be a field value in a related record. For example, when an employee submits an expense reimbursement request, you can set the title field to display a combination of fields. Let's go to the editing page of the reimbursement worksheet and setting the default value for the title field. Click Other Field Values and select a field in the current worksheet, and you can also type in fixed text. Save the setting. Let's open a record to see the title. Select an applicant. We can see the title field displayed as the reimbursement request submitted by Ross. Next, let's take another example to try to set the default value to be a field value from a related record. For example, when creating an order, we want the signing sales to default to the follow-up person from the related customer record. Go to the editing page of the order worksheet. We have already related the order worksheet to the customer worksheet. Now set the default value for the signing sales field. Click Other Field Values and select the follow-up field from the related customer record. Save the setting. Let's create an order. When selecting a customer record, we can see that the signing sales defaults to the follow-up person from the customer record. And then let's explore how to set default values by querying a worksheet. Whether it is a regular field, a related field, or a field in a subform, default values can be set in this way. First, set a default value for a regular field by querying a worksheet. For example, when an employee submits an expense reimbursement request, we want the bank card to default to the bank card used in their last reimbursement request. Now, to set a dynamic default value for the bank card field. Select Query Worksheet, then set the worksheet to be queried, in this case, the reimbursement history worksheet and the query conditions. If there are multiple matching records, you can choose to take only the first record in the current order or not to take any. You can also set the sorting rules for the records, supporting multiple sorting fields. Then write the query results into the field. Save the settings. Let's go to create a record. After selecting the applicant, we can see that the bank card field has a default value. Next, let's set a default value for a related field by querying a worksheet. For example, when creating an order, query the records in the contact worksheet based on the input email address, and if there is a matching contact, relate that contact record. Now, set a dynamic default value for the related contact field. Select Query Worksheet, then set the query condition to check if there is a record in the contact worksheet with the same email address as the one entered in the current record, and automatically relate the queried record to the current record. Save the settings. Let's create a record. After entering the email address, we can see that a contact record has been automatically related. Finally, let's set default values for the fields in a subform by querying a worksheet. For example, when creating an order, enter the product name and query the product list worksheet to get product number and unit price, then write them into the subform of order details. Now set dynamic default values for the subform. Select Query Worksheet, then set the worksheet to be queried, the product list worksheet, and the query conditions. You can set the number of query records up to 500 records. Then set the field mapping to write the query results into the subform. Save the settings. Let's create a record. After entering the product name, we can see that the product number and price are displayed in the subform. In addition to the two methods mentioned for setting dynamic default values, HAP also provides various data processing functions that can be used to set default values for fields. It supports 5 types of functions: math functions, text functions, date functions, logical functions, and advanced functions. For example, in the Order Details worksheet, there are unit price and quantity fields, and we can use functions to set a dynamic default value for the amount field. Click the function calculation to enter the function editing page. Select functions and fields from the left side, or manually edit functions and static parameters on the right side. Save the settings. Let's open a record and enter the price and quantity. We can see that the amount field is automatically filled. So that's it for today. Go to try the various methods introduced today to set default values for fields. If you'd like to learn more, visit our Help Center for help documentation. Thanks for watching.